Our next guest says all this talk about gun control, from CNN's totally Orwellian town hall to the president's remarks, pushed him to purchase his first gun. Robert Norman is a writer and a host of a podcast, and he joins us tonight. Mr. Norman, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me, Tucker.
So I wanted to talk to you, not because I thought your piece, I thought it was great, but not because it was unique, because I suspect it isn't unique. That's kind of the point. I think there are probably a bunch of people who had the same reaction that you did. Explain your impulse. Why did you do this?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there aren't a lot of people who, there's a lot of people who reacted the same way, but my impulse when I wrote the piece was that I was seeing this argument go on and seeing the town hall, seeing everything happening on CNN, and the reactions both during it and after. No one was really talking about the issue from really a complex point of view. No one was admitting on either side that this isn't a simple issue. This isn't a simple problem. So when I hear people scream about, not even screaming, but even talking about saying safety is what's most important, and the other side saying liberty is what's most important, but neither one admitting that there are drawbacks, there are trade-offs that come with giving up liberty for security and giving up security for liberty. You're always going to have a trade-off. And so when I wrote the piece, I was writing it from that mindset of what would I rather have, what would I prefer, and what do I think is most important.
Boy, that's the most thoughtful gun purchase of the year. I would say. I mean, I agree with everything you just said. I just think more people than not act on instinct. But I think you've kind of explained what undergirds that instinct. Do you think you should be trusted with a gun?
I think so. It's interesting because I think that when it comes to the gun purchase, I didn't come from a point of view that I was actually excited to purchase a gun. As I read in my piece, I plan on training I plan on getting training. I plan on making sure that I take it as a responsibility because I view it as a duty. That's something that we don't really talk about, especially as civilians living in a country that's founded upon liberty, but it's a duty to carry it. And I definitely know that I don't plan on carrying it until I know that I can actually protect myself and protect others and not be a greater danger to others.
I think you speak for a lot of gun owners, and I mean there are people who have guns who shouldn't, probably a lot of them, but all the gun owners I know are very, very focused on safety and responsibility. So once you are trained, what do you plan to do with it?
I've thought about getting a concealed carry license. I've thought about potentially doing open carry. Really the key thing for me is just knowing that at the very least I should know how a gun functions, how to act around a gun, how to handle myself.
Yes.
I've actually gone through safety drills. When there's an open shooter drill, I've done those drills. I've been told and I learn and I understand that you run, you hide, and if all else fails, then you fight. But I think the same thing goes with guns. Is I don't view it as a necessarily in a light gift. I don't think it's
right.
Something...
No. The guns are heavy. There's a heavy burden attached. I wish we had a gun control advocate on right now with you to explain why, after everything you've said, you still shouldn't be allowed to have a gun. It would be interesting to hear their perspective on that. Robert, thank you for coming on. That was really interesting.
Thank you, Tucker.